So anyway, we're here today to acknowledge, I think, a very poignant time in the history of this great street. John and I actually got involved in Beale Street at the same time. I was at the Orpheum in 1980. He was starting his career of developing this particular area at the same time, and we had Jack Bell's anchoring us over on Union Avenue, and so I'm glad to see the three of us together again. It's been a long, wonderful trip, and hopefully we're all going to continue to do well.
John called me as he was calling around town because he had this idea to resurrect, give birth again to the world-famous Beale Street. And others had tried, and others had ideas. John really had a passion for the idea. He called me up and he said, "Give me a few minutes, I want to tell you about my idea for Beale Street." And he spent, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes telling me about his idea, and at the end, he said, "What do you think?" And this is in his book. I said, "John, I think you're crazy." And John told me later that at least for about the first 20 years, and some of you guys know it full well, I was right about that. But the truth of the matter is that nobody who has received a note on Beale Street, in my opinion, deserves a note on Beale Street like John Elkington does. Because stop and think about it. The music of Beale Street come alive again. And it is an honor for me, seriously, to join all of you in giving John credit that John is certainly deserving of. John, congratulations.
John Elkington, I don't quite know how to say what I'm going to say because I see so many people here that have done so much to help the rebirth of Beale Street. But John Elkington does not deserve a blues note, a blues star. John Elkington deserves a galaxy with stars. I stand here in the front of the father of the blues, W.C. Handy. When John Elkington came to Beale Street, I remember very vividly the summer of 1980, we were working on a mural on the side of Elvis Presley, what is it, Lasky Brothers. If Beale Street could talk, I think Dr. Handy said that married men would take up their beds and walk, and I think Jeff and Mr. Halliburton just alluded to that fact in some form, but I think that John Elkington, he might not be the father of the blues, like the city couldn't carry a note. I've never seen him with a paintbrush in his hand. But he is the godfather, the father of Beale Street. Beale Street had flatlined when John Elkington came here. And there had been a number of people who tried to resuscitate Beale Street. Some said, hey, let the dead be dead, and let's go on to East Memphis and Germantown. But John Elkington came here and set forth with the new birth, the rebirth of Beale Street. And I'm proud, very proud to call him my friend. And I see so many people here today that also I know, acknowledged by your presence, being here, that he is your friend and will continue to be your friend. I can't continue on, John, talking, and I always call him Mr. Elkington, my godfather. John Elkington retired. thank you so much for what you have done, not only for this street, but for the city of Memphis.
On behalf of the Memphis Music Foundation, John, I want to tell you, at the foundation, we're all about Memphis music, and I've got to say that because of you, there are millions of people around this world who now have a great appreciation for Memphis music because of Beale Street and because of the Beale Street Notes. In addition to Beale Street, John is the person that started the Beale Street Note project, and as a member of the Beale Street Note Committee, we have pledged to him that we will continue this, we will keep this project going, we will continue to honor people and put those brass notes into the street here on Beale Street. For two reasons. One, for all of you that are visitors to our city, for the tourists, we thank you. We love having you here, but it's an opportunity for you to see the legacy of Memphis music, to learn about what has happened here in all genres of music, and to know that music is still alive in Memphis. And then for all of us that live here, it's a reminder every day, because sometimes we kind of forget of this great history of Memphis music that came right from this street and other places here in Memphis. And so it's a good reminder for all of us every day. So on behalf of all of us on the Beale Street Note Committee, John, congratulations. Totally well deserved. And thank you for all you have done for Memphis music.
Let me just say that as a person who's, other than John, pretty responsible for bringing people down here on a regular basis for the last 20 years, there was a time when Beale Street was not famous. It had a great legacy, it had a great history, but you had a lot of, it was dead. And in the early 90s, John came down here and through a lot of tenacity, a lot of grit, a lot of determination, a lot of successes, and a lot of heartbreaks, he persevered and brought this thing back to life. So John, I just want to tell you on behalf of the 51,000 members of the tourism and hospitality industry that make our living, regardless if you're downtown or you're in Collierville, when you talk about the assets of Memphis, and you talk about what this community is famous for, obviously, is the home of the blues and the birthplace of rock and roll, everything centers around the hub of Beale Street. So thank you for what you've done for all of us, and congratulations on this honor today.
First of all, let me say it's a great honor to have Jack Bells, who is really the father of all downtown, to be here today. Thank you, Jack, for all that you've done. When we look back, when we started Beale Street, Henry Turley, Jack Bells, Pat Halloran, all these people made a contribution, but no one made a contribution more than the tenants who took a risk to be on Beale Street. I remember Johnny Robertson and Preston Lamb and many people who took a chance to be here. And it wasn't an easy decision to make, and for them I always will appreciate that. You, Sandy, your family took a risk. Preston took a huge risk. Kevin Kane took a huge risk. A lot of people criticized him for it, but we appreciate that. You know, today in downtown, I don't see the Pat Hallorans, the Jack Bells, the Henry Turleys, the people who are willing to take a risk. And I hope this new generation of people will step forward and try to continue to make downtown a special and unique place. I want to thank also the people that have worked with me over the years: Jimmy Silvio, Donna Williams, Al James, Diane Glasper, and all the other people that took a risk, quit their jobs to be down here. And I'm here, most in particular, there have been so many people who have helped give me advice. And Sonia Walker, our great friend, the pastor Sonia Walker's here, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you coming today. This note represents everyone who is involved in Beale Street. My good friend Bill Dickinson, at the Rotary they give you an award for the person who comes the farthest distance. Bill Dickinson, who owns Wet Willie's, came the farthest distance, and we appreciate that, Bill. I really do. And I want to thank the Beale Street Development Corporation, the City of Memphis, the 6 mayors I got to work with, or sometimes worked with, and we appreciate all of those people. But thank you very, very much for coming today. Preston Shannon, all the great artists that have been here, the people in the Note Committee, Susan Merman, my friend Lyman Aldridge, who should have a note and should have more than that, the man who started in May. Thank you for coming. We appreciate that. And I want to thank my family. Thank you so much. Finally, I want to say one thing. You know, when you're down, people want to help you sometimes, but not often. But I want to thank my dear friend Scott Beale for being here today, who's done so much for me and helped me so much in the last year. We appreciate it. And thank you so much for this, and I want you all to join in, because this represents all of Beale Street, not just simply me. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, John. I'm very proud of what you've done, what you've accomplished on Beale Street. I'm very proud. I can call you my
On behalf of all of my fellow musicians, all the musicians, the engineers, the bartenders, the waitresses, the busboys, you know, the distributors, everyone down here who feeds their family off of the legacy of John Elkington. Thanks him, his vision, his generosity, and what he's done for the city and for each of us individually. John,
I was here in 1983 when Beale Street opened. I was working for the Memphis Park Commission, and I had to run Handy Park. I got to meet John that way. He was a park commissioner on the Memphis Park Board, and we've had a 27-year relationship. And John has always been very good to me, not only of me, been very encouraging, and I appreciate his support very well. And there he is right there. He's my friend.